All right, let's go over how to weigh your food properly, because accuracy here will actually make your tracking more effective. So first of all, I recommend using a digital food scale. If you can get one that measures different units like grams and milliliters, that's also quite handy, but you really do want to make sure that you get one that tars off, so that when you have items of food on it and then you want to add more items, you can tar it off so that it resets to 0. Okay, I just grabbed this one from Kmart, I think. Now, wherever possible, we want to use a digital scale where we're measuring in things like grams and milliliters as opposed to cups, tablespoons, teaspoons, that kind of thing. Why? Because measuring by volume is a lot less accurate. So the best example I can give you is peanut butter. So a tablespoon of peanut butter can be anything between 12 and 20 grams, but the difference of calories of 12 grams of peanut butter versus 20 grams of peanut butter is quite substantial. And depending on your calorie target, might be quite substantial for you. So listen, we're going for consistency over perfection here. So it's not all the time that you absolutely have to use a digital scale in grams and milliliters, but if the majority of the time you do, you're going to get better results in terms of your tracking. At a minimum, I would advise you to always measure your fats, things like avocado, olive oil, peanut butter, nuts, seeds, with a digital scale, because it can really vary if you use tablespoons or teaspoons and so forth. Okay, so in terms of best practices, always place your plate on the scale first, okay, and then you want to tar it off. So I've just pressed the tar button and it's reset it to 0, okay, and then I'm just going to like pour my food into it and like so, and prawns, and it's come out at 142. And then say I want to add some more food to it, say I was building a salad or a poke bowl or doing a baking recipe or something, I just tar it off so it's back to 0, and then I start again, okay? And you can record that as you go if you're building a meal, right? Sometimes though, like I'm making a prawn curry at the moment, and I need 600 grams of prawns, and I'm not going to fit 600 grams of prawns into this bowl. So this is where I would recommend that you actually put the packet on the scales, tar it off so it comes to 0, and then pour it directly into your fry pan or your bowl or whatever, and then it's going to go into the negative, and then that will be the number of grams that you're using. Okay, this is particularly helpful for things like sauces, spreads, dressings, that kind of thing. Like for example, my garlic paste, I'm not going to spoon the garlic paste into another bowl on top of the scale. I'm just going to put my garlic paste on, I'm going to tar it off so it's 0, and then I'll use my teaspoon and I'll scoop it out and put it straight into my fry pan, and then whatever the negative is, that's the number of grams, okay? Wherever possible, I want you to try and weigh your food raw. Why? Because cooked foods can vary wildly in terms of calories. Water evaporates and is absorbed, and this changes the weight. So for example, 100 grams of raw chicken might weigh 70 grams once it's cooked, but that doesn't actually mean that the calories are any different. But if you put 70 grams of chicken in your calorie thing, it's actually not accounting for 30 grams worth of the calories, okay? Again, it's not always that big a deal. It's just, if most of the time you can make sure it's raw, it is going to help, or, you know, straight from the packet. So these are frozen, so I'm doing it frozen from the packet, okay, because that's what it is in the calorie tracker. What else? Finally, I just want you to remember, like, this isn't about being obsessive, okay? It's more about being consistent and aware and giving you some education and insight in and around your own nutrition habits, and also just different foods and how many calories they contain, and it might surprise you, but also from a nutrient point of view, okay? It's really important that we're getting a good amount of protein in, and fiber in particular, for our overall health and wellness and satiety, and it's really helpful for losing fat and so forth. And so think of this as kind of like a nutrition 101 for your body, and the education that you're going to get from tracking is actually going to last you a lifetime, really. So it's not something that you do need to do forever, but it will help you build a strong foundation. Hope that helps.